Okay. All right. So I'm gonna give it some time. Let some people come in here. I'm gonna give it some time. Let some people come on in, and I'll get things going. And then I will get things going. What I'll do is I'll begin with letting y'all know some of my talking points and what I'm trying to prove, and then I'll go in, and we'll go from there. But most importantly, the reason why I'm doing this specific subject matter is because I had saw some comments on the IG, and shout out to my man 500 Nations. You know what I'm saying? I've yet to sit down and talk to you, brother, but I'm looking forward to it. I'm enjoying your page. I'm enjoying the information that you're bringing, and I had saw a picture that you had posted. What's going on, Kanisha? Thank you for coming in. So I saw a picture that 500 Nations on IG. Like I said, great dude. I love his content. Very thought-provoking information that he posts. And there was, certain people that commented, about what he had posted in regards to what he posted. And what he had posted basically had something to do with the indigenous and native people of the Americas. And a lot of comments that I started seeing, which to me, you know what I'm saying, like I feel are unfortunate comments, is when I see dark-skinned people trying to separate themselves and disconnect themselves culturally, ancestrally from other dark-skinned people. Now, I'm not trying to say like we're all like related like that, but in a sense, like I said, it's like from dark skin to dark skin, for someone who is dark skinned too, to be so intent to to stress our disconnect and our separation more than our similarities, especially at a time like now. Like I said, for me, is not only it's not conducive for us as a people to progress and to be in a better place, but it's defeating the purpose, right? It's almost doing the job for the people that created this mess. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to show similarities. I wanted to show similarities within our cultures, within our civilizations. And then also, most importantly, I wanted to show how wrong we have been looking at things, from culture, from people, all the way to something as simple as a map. The way we look at things will dictate how we treat things, right? So, for example, the way you look at the world will dictate how you treat it. So, if you were bitter towards the way you look at the world, then you will be bitter towards the people that are within that world. You know what I'm saying? So, my point is that it's definitely important in regards to how you look at the world, and through whose eyes do you look at the world in? Through whose eyes do you look at the world in? So let me get my tea ready, man. I got some tea over here. It's cold. I don't want to run my heater because it makes a bunch of noise. So I got my tea ready, and that should warm me up. But so yeah, man. So that's definitely what I want to talk about, man. I want to talk about that because, like I said, I feel it's detrimental for us as a people. Look, we're so scattered as it is, right? I feel like it's not only it's useless for us to sit here and fuss over what tribe, what this and this we're from, when we as a collective are not together. I'm not saying that that information is not useful. I'm not saying the information is not important. I'm saying that there's bigger fish to fry than for us to be arguing amongst ourselves who's not related and who's not, who is related and who's not. You see what I'm saying? So what I'm going to do is, well, first, before I show pictures and all that, I want to give y'all my intro. Like I said, I want to give y'all like the reason why I'm doing this. So most importantly, when you think about it, when people say Indian, when people say Native American, you wonder, who are they talking to? Who are they talking about? Now, traditionally and generally, we imagine the light-skinned, not even light skin, but it's like the white looking Native American dude, right? With the square face, the guy that says how, and things of that nature. It's like those are the people that we generally assume as Native Americans. But even then, if you think about it, just that broad stroke of calling people Native Americans is not specifying those different tribes and different different layers of Native American people. Not only were there different tribes, but there were different complexions. There were so many different variations of Native Americans. So as you know, the colonizers came in, when they saw one, they classified them all as that one. And so we have to understand that a lot falls under the category of quote unquote Native American. And a lot of us, like I said, are generally taught and are generally kind of spoon-fed the notion that a Native American is, you know, it's like that's the guy who kind of looks like a Mexican a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Which is utterly not true. It's utterly not true. And let me give you another example in regards to how not true that is. DJ, what's happening, boss? Another reason why, like I said, that the general classification of Native American, it spilled over to even dark-skinned people too, because not only were dark-skinned people classified as Native American in the Americas, but then if you go to places like Africa, dark-skinned people were just called black. You see what I'm saying? It was the same broad stroke that was painted on Native Americans, quote unquote Native Americans in the Americas, is that now we'll call blacks. Now, never mind all the tribes, never mind all the cultures. You know what I'm saying? Never mind all the different complexions of people. Now they're just classified as black or Negro or whatever. You see what I'm saying? So the same generalization, that same broad stroke has been painted for all people of color. And most importantly, if you notice too, Spanish people. I don't want to say Spanish people, but the people down in South America, the Brazils, in the favelas, the Caribbeans. You notice how we call them, we don't call them black. We call them Caribbean. We call them Spanish, Portuguese. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't call them black when they are black or dark skin. Mind me. That's the indoctrination myself. I'm trying to correct myself. That's the dark skin. So my point is this, is that we are being classified by people who don't know us. So then they just paint broad strokes because they assume us as you know, as one thing when we are many. You see what I'm saying? Okay, so that's number one. That's the first thing I wanted to mention, is that the classification of Native Americans is not only wrong, but it's generalized. The classification of black people, quote unquote, even African American, even that term right there, that's a very narrow-minded way of classifying various groups of different people and throwing them all into one bag. So same thing with the Indian. You know, there was already an India that existed with Indians in it, right? Which they called Indians, which were dark-skinned people. So for me, to be honest with you, if you think about it, common sense would lead you to believe that if they called like the India in India, dark-skinned people India, and then when they travel to the Americas, they go, damn, those are Indians again. And they call them Indians because they were dark-skinned people. So what people don't understand, let me show you why not only am I convinced that we've been on every part of this land, not only am I convinced, I'm going to show you why I'm so convinced. And it's going to make complete sense to you once you see this. So the first thing, before I show you this, the first thing that I want people to know and understand is that the only reason why people like me and my skin color and anybody who resembles it, the only reason why you can find this on every continent, the only reason why you can find this everywhere on God's green earth is because we were smart enough to spread out. Not even smart enough. That was an objective of ours, to spread out. Because when you spread out, that is what ensures survival. When you spread out, that is what ensures your survival. So it was imperative for us to reach all corners of the earth. It was imperative for us to have ziggurats and pyramids all over the earth. It was imperative for all cultures to acknowledge the sun. All this shit was imperative. That shit was, it was necessary, it was mandatory for us to spread out because that ensured survival. And that's not just a thought that someone goes, man, let's just, hey, yo, we need to get up and spread out because we need to survive. No, it's instinct. It's natural for us to think like that. It's instinctual. It's instinctual. That's why you have animals. You see, that's why you have so many animals in different parts of the country and different parts of the continent. Is because instinctually to them, it's to make sure that you don't die out. You go all over the place. Because if something happens to one concentration of you, y'all are somewhere else to reproduce. You see what I'm saying? So the concept or the idea that dark-skinned people stayed in one spot is ridiculous. The concept and the idea that dark-skinned people stayed in one spot is ridiculous. Because like I said, is that organisms, most animals, and not just animals, but to survive and to ensure your survival is to spread out. Look at the bear. Look at the elephant. Look at the crocodile. Look at the python. I can name animals all day who have spread out. And we have different versions of them. We have different versions of them in different places. So this idea that dark-skinned people don't somehow connect and are connected to other dark-skinned people in somewhere else is ridiculous to me. That shit don't make no sense. It don't make no sense because that is that has been our aim from the beginning. If you look at the Australian, you see the natives there and how they traveled from the top of the world, which is South Africa, and I'm gonna break that down. You know what? Look, I'm not even gonna go any further. Y'all have to see the world how it actually is. I'm gonna show y'all this, and then I'm gonna go in because y'all have to start seeing the world for how it actually is. And there's too much of this. Look, man, let me tell y'all. I said it in the beginning that how you look at this world, man, how you look at this world will dictate anything and everything in it. It'll dictate how you treat it, man. Okay? So do y'all see this? Okay, people on my IG, y'all gonna have to come check this out over here. Can I flip this? Yeah. All right, get this. Okay, y'all see this? Y'all see the map, right? Y'all see the map. Okay, y'all notice the map is upside down. The map is upside down because that's the way the world is. You have to understand that we have been looking the world the wrong way. I know I sound crazy. Just feel me on this. Just feel me on this. We have been looking at the world the wrong way. I know. Just feel me. Just feel me. Okay. These are the Americas, right? This is South America, right? This is Africa, right? This is Australia, right? Now feel me. Now, as you look at this map, picture the world. Picture the world and picture how the sun shines on top of the world, right? So the sun don't shine on the ground. The sun shines on top of us, above us, north of us, right? Right? And then the ground is south of us, right? So south is supposed to imply down. North is supposed to imply up, right? So that's why it's called North America, because it's up, it's above, right? South America is at the bottom. Okay. Now the sun, we know the sun is north of us. We know the ground is south of us. We understand that. Now tell me this. Well, let me mention one more thing. The sun shines on what it is closest to. The sun shines on what it is closest to. Whatever the sun is closest to, it's going to make that the hottest, right? The sun shines the hottest on what it is closest to, okay? So let's imagine the sun rising. Boom, the sun is up here. It's up. The sun is up top. You know why? It's because the sun heats up. Whatever the sun is closest to, that's what's going to heat up. Australia is hot. Why? Because the sun is close to Australia. The same way your roof. Imagine your house. The roof is hot, right? The roof is hot, but the floor of the ground, the floor in your home is not hot. Why? Because the sun don't shine on it. And the sun is not close to the floor. The roof is closer to the sun than your floor. So consider this your roof. The sun is shining. Boom. The sun heats up what it is closest to. It's close to Australia. It heats it up. It's close to Africa. It heats it up. It's close to India. It heats it up. It's close to all these. What's this right here? It's close to the Arabs, the Arab area, right? It's close to all of this. Africa. This is hot because the sun's close to it. South America. It's hot because the sun is close to it. The Caribbeans, which is the equator, it's hot. It's hot, right? The Floridas, it's hot. Now, what is cold? What's cold is what is away from the sun. What is cold is away from the sun. It's not close to the sun. What is cold is away from the sun. And what is away from the sun? Motherfucking Russia's. What is away from the sun? Europe's. What is away from the sun? The Canadas. What is away from the sun? The Norways, the Greenlands. These things are far from the sun, so that means they are colder. So we have to understand that we have been looking at the world the wrong way, because North America is not north. Because if it was north, then the sun would be beaten down on it, and it would be goddamn South America over there. It'd be hot as shit. It'd be Africa hot. It would be Africa hot, but it's not. Why? It's because North America, or not North America, yeah, but North America, even North America, Canada, all them shits, they are farther away from the sun. But if you look at the Floridas, if you look at, and that's what I'm saying, if you think about it too, think about even the mid-states. They're hot because they're close. They're closer to the Caribbean. The Caribbean is by the equator. Anything past here is hot. It's hot. Look at India's hot. Anything past here is fucking hot, people. Indonesia. All this is hot. Anything past that is hot. Why? Because it's closest to the sun. It's closest to the sun. So we need to understand that we haven't been looking at the world as it is. You understand what I'm saying? We have not been looking at the world as it is. So I hope y'all realize that. So from there, we have to, okay, hold on. Let me show, I forgot. I'm gonna show you another thing too about that. That's another thing too I need to show y'all. This is important. This is important. This is important. Okay, and then another thing I want to show y'all about this is that y'all see the puzzle piece. Y'all see the puzzle piece. You see, when my dark-skinned people try to tell me that we were not one at one point in time, it breaks my heart, man. It breaks my heart. It breaks my heart. You know what I'm saying? That's like, it's a family member. It's like a distant family member saying, I got nothing to do with you. And but you know what? It's sometimes hard. I don't blame him, because not only I don't blame him, because a lot of shit has happened in between time. Put it like that. A lot of things have happened in between time. So I have leniency towards my dark skin brother and sister when they don't understand that we were one at one time. We were one. All of this was one. We were one. We were on one piece of land. And then as the land split, we still ventured back and forth with each other and traded. We still ventured back and forth. We would go south and trade. Not only did we trade with India with their spices and threads, we even created it was the Silk Road that came through here, which was a trade route. Ancient times, we traded. We went back and forth as our land split. We still traveled back and forth. You've heard about the Moors who resided here, but then ended up coming up with making their own empires and settled in the West, or in the East, as I should say. I'm trying to tell y'all, we were one. All this was together, and when it split, some of us already stayed. We've been staying here. So when it split, home, that was already home. When it split, that was already home. When it split, that was already home. That was already home. This was home. This was home. All of this was home to us. So we have to understand, folks, that we were one at one time. We were one at one time with with so many different types of us within that one. Because y'all need to understand, when I say we were one, there is plenty of individuality within one, right? You can be one family with various people in the family, right? There's 6 of us in my family. There's 6 people, but we're one family, but there's 6 of us. So we can have individuality within a family. It's possible. We don't have to act like we don't know each other and we don't have nothing to do with each other. It's possible. They do it. Do you hear Jews calling themselves Jews? Do you hear Jews writing? Do you see Jews when they go, what race are you? Do they say Jew? No, they say fucking Caucasian. What? Just like an Italian would. Just like any other Czechoslovakian or German, they all say white. Why can't we do that too? Imagine our numbers if we did that too. Imagine our numbers if all South American people said they were dark. All Central American, Caribbean people said they were dark. Quote unquote, Native American people said they were dark. Indians from India said they were dark. I can keep going. Imagine those numbers if we became one. Imagine. But no, we're too busy fixated on stressing the fact how different we are or how separate we are. I don't mind the differences. I welcome that. But separate. And I'm going to show you guys how culturally similar we are. I'm going to show you guys how spiritually similar we are. Genetically, I can only go so far because I understand the fact that we are different. And that also means genetically too. And I'm going to read y'all a study that was performed. And it proves just that we are a very diverse group of people. And that's okay. That's all right. That's all right to be diverse. But like I said, let's not forget that we're all children of one sun. Only one thing makes our skin dark, man. There's only one thing, and that's the sun. And that's what brings us together. That's what makes us one. It's that there's one thing that makes your skin dark. There's one thing that makes my skin dark. There's only one thing. And that's what brings us together. That's it. It's that sun. That's it. So, before I go any further, I want to touch on, like I said, the main reason why I'm doing this is because I'm getting my tea ready over there. The main reason why I'm doing this is because, like I said, I saw comments, very disheartening comments, discouraging comments for both sides. This is not just for me. I feel these comments are discouraging for all of us because if one of us says something like this, it will create an energy that we all, then, a certain side will say it and another side will act out of you know, animosity, you know what I'm saying? And then it's a back and forth thing. It's like, I feel like it's detrimental for us to start making accusations that are very serious and that could jeopardize the little progress we've made, quote unquote, the woke community, which obviously, you know what I'm saying, people are already trampling, but it's like the little progress we've made, like this thing of trying to disconnect us is, like I said, it's detrimental. And I feel like it's if people don't understand what they are saying, they will cause more damage than good. So I'd rather be wrong trying to bring us to put us in one category. And when I say one category, I mean one category as in the children of the sun. I mean, I dare somebody to try to tell me you're dark for something else makes you dark other than the goddamn sun. If it is, then you're right. Then we are not the same. And we are not family. We're not anything alike. Because the only thing that makes my skin dark gives me what I have. That gives me the enlightenment, the brain capacity, the anything and everything is that sun. The same way that sun gives photosynthesis to that flower. It's the same language. It's the same vibratory language that the sun gets from that flower. I mean, the flower gets from that sun, that I get from that sun, and you get from that sun. And only us have that. Only us have that. So for me, that's what I'm saying. It's like, and there's a lot of different of us's. So that's why I'm gonna sit there and try to act like number one is more superior, and then number two, that we're disconnected. That's another thing too. The notion of out of Africa, I don't know where it came from. I don't know what it is, but we have to understand the only reason why it's such a big deal and evident is because of a lot of you know, of not only spiritual, academic, there's a lot of resources that were pulled from there, right? Where else can you find a pyramid as dope as the one of the Pyramid of Giza? Where else can you find a Sphinx as dope as the one? Like, let's not act like that shit is just, it's just Africa. Like, that's why that shit is Africa. That's why it's called Africa. I mean, that's why it's so revered. It's because a lot came from there. Now, I'm not saying a lot didn't come from the Americas or any other place, but I'm just saying, like, until I see, you know, a pyramid or some kind of building that has outlasted all these years in Chicago or somewhere else, I would be like, damn, you're right. Hell yeah. But I haven't seen nothing like that yet. Or maybe they'll hit it. I don't know. But my point is that Africa is called Africa, or they call it, I don't know why they call it Africa, but the place, I'd rather say that the place they call Africa. The reason why it's so revered, it's pretty obvious why that place is so revered. So but then let's not act like that's the only place of you know, of like mystery and various types of cultures. And South America, same thing. The Olmecs, the Mayans, the Aztecs. Like, there's so much beautiful culture and construction architecture in South America, in Central America, in Mexico. In Mexico, they just found, not just found, like a year ago, it is called the Hoyo Negro. They found a 12,000-year-old skeleton. They found a 12,000-year-old skeleton in Mexico, Hoyo Negro. So and then in that same cave, they had found, prehistoric giant sloths. They had found like a prehistoric elephant species. So my point is that, yes, Africa a lot of times is always kind of stressed like that place of pure mystery, and it's like, you know, God's gift to earth. But understand, folks, that not only do I understand that it's not just Africa, it's also India, right? It's also places like China, South Americas. These places have abundance of history, of civilizations who have come in and out and have improved, and technologies. So it's not just Africa. It's not just Africa. We have to understand that. But then we also have to look at it as what Africa is and why. I don't see no other dope ass pyramid. Like somebody show me a pyramid of Giza. Anything that looks like a pyramid of Giza in another fucking country or continent, please. And I will admire it just as much as I admire the pyramid of Giza. I'll go, goddamn, that is incredible. That shit's incredible. I say that. So show it to me. I'd love to see it. Now, one thing that I want to touch on, another thing I want to touch on. I've seen a couple of people that when they make these comments about dark-skinned people being in the Americas, not only do I agree, but a lot of times they don't see that. They don't understand that. They just assume because I'm African, I'm pro-Africa and fuck everything else. But what people don't understand is that when I say the place called Africa, I'm referring to every little piece of it, not just the piece that they call Africa. I'm talking about when Africa was connected to South America. I'm talking about when India was connected to Africa. I'm talking about when Australia was connected. That's the Africa I'm talking about. When it was one landmass and we roamed it. So, but then people like to talk about it after the split. Even then, what I started noticing a lot of times that people that got on there would make comments about how much they were not African and they've always been here and this and that. Like, I understand the need for self-identity. I understand that. But some of y'all, and if you have this in your handle, I'm gonna tell you this because, like I said, y'all are my, whether you don't think you're my brother or not, you're still my brother to me. You can't change that. For me, I'm still gonna treat you with love, and you're still that distant relative because the same sun makes my skin dark. So we are children of the sun. That makes you a relative. Whether you believe that or not, that's up to you. But I'm gonna give you. Can I drop a gem for you? Can I just let me kick you down just a little something, bro? Just a little something, just because I care. I'm not saying this shit to make you feel stupid. I'm not saying this shit to you know, to throw any shots. I'm saying this because I want you to know what you say when you say it. You see, I believe, and I've said this before, words are very powerful. We all know this. I'm sure y'all can agree with me. Words are encapsulated pockets of energy. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I can throw an energy ball. I can be like, hey, motherfucker, right? That can either piss you off. If I said it in the right way, you motherfucker, right? That I am throwing a certain type of energy to invoke a certain type of emotion out of you. Or I can be like, that's my motherfucker, right? So it's pockets of energy that invoke emotion. Now, once you say something, you arm it, right? Once you say something, it's out there and it's perceived and it's alive. So with that being said, what up, Father of the Nations, my guy? So with that being said, this is nothing to Father of the Nations. I want you to tell as many people that you know about this because, like I said, I want to say this to. I want to help. I want to drop this in regards to my people who consider the word Aboriginal, Native, or Indigenous. I am dropping this as a gem to my people out there who use the phrase Aboriginal when they call themselves Aboriginal. What's up, my guy? Five of the Nations, yo. If y'all ain't following Five of the Nations, get to my guy. Real shit. That's my dude right there. So I'm saying this because, like I said, that I want to make sure. Like it's like you know that homie or that girl, you know, your girl, that thing that you have where it's like when you in public and spot and you got like a booger in your nose and that person be like, you know, and you're like, oh shit, my bad, thanks, good luck. That's what I'm trying to do right now with my peoples. That's what I'm trying to do. The ones that call themselves Aboriginal or have it in their handle or say we are Aboriginal people of the native of the Americas. When you say that, you have to understand what you're saying. You have to understand what you're saying. Because what I think you're saying, and which I agree with, is the fact that you're saying we have been here. We ain't never moved in, and we've never left. I get that. I understand that. But I hope you understand that when you say Aboriginal, that's not saying that. I understand when you say Aboriginal, you mean I have been here. I've never left. I've been in the Americas. I understand that's what you mean, and I agree. But understand that when you say that, when you say Aboriginal, that word Aboriginal does not mean that. Okay? The word Aboriginal, I'm going to read the description right here. The word Aboriginal means inhabiting or existing in a land from the earliest times or from before the arrival of colonists. Okay? That's what Aboriginal means. Now let's look up what original means. Because if it was the same word, there wouldn't be two different words, right? It could just be original, because that's what original is supposed to. Like, if anything, you should just say we original, right? Well, the definition of original is present or existing. Present or existing from the beginning, first or earliest. Okay? The definition of original is present or present or existing from the beginning, first or earliest. Okay? And now let's go back to the Aboriginal definition. The Aboriginal definition, what my people are using incorrectly, is inhabiting or existing in a land from the earliest times or from before the arrival of colonists. So why I'm saying this, and I will show distinction. I will show you why it's not working out, and it's not the right choice of words. You see, the word Aboriginal, the prefix there is ab. And the prefix ab in Latin means away from. I'm going to say it again. The prefix of the word Aboriginal, AB, is Latin for away from. Okay? So that means that when someone says Aboriginal, that is not necessarily saying they're original, but they're actually saying that they are not original. It's giving the ab, in layman's term, the ab is given a shadow of a doubt, because if we look at the definition of Aboriginal, it says inhabiting or existing in a land from earliest times or from before the arrival of colonists. So that is a word based on a perception from people saying, well, it's either you're from here or you came before us. But original, there is no shadow of doubt when someone says, I am original. Original means present or existing from the beginning, first or earliest. So what I would, so my folks who like to think, my dark-skinned people like to think the word Aboriginal means that you are from here originally. It does not mean that. It means you are not from here, or you may not be from here. So just to let you know that you want to say original, just straight original, because let me tell you other words. Let me tell you other words that do the same thing. You see, we have abnormal, right? Absent. Absent is not being present. You see what I'm saying? Abduct. Take away. So do you understand that the AB prefix is not solidifying your originality? So when people say Aboriginal, understand that you are actually saying that you're not from there. So I just want to let y'all know that. Okay? I'm not, like I said, I'm not trying to be, I'm not trying to be an asshole about it. I just want y'all to know what, you know, how y'all see things, or at least how it's being perceived, the way you say it. You know what I mean? So now, what else did I want to show y'all? Okay, so another thing that I want to talk about is the reason why I do believe the fact that not only have dark-skinned people been on every parts of the world, but it's just been it's been a mind state, and it's been something that's been going on progressively since the beginning of our times, because you see that through civilizations, through the, you know, through the evolution of time, and through civilizations either coming up or breaking apart, not only are others formed, but then there is a trail of stories, there's a trail of history, there's artwork, there's cave art, there's a lot of things that talk about us in the Americas, in the Central Americas, in South Americas, in the Africas, in the Asias, in every part of this world, we have left remnants of old cultures and old civilizations. And I will touch on one of those in just a second. And the reason why I'm speaking of this particular civilization is because I feel like, based on what I've read, I feel like they are the remaining kind of descendants of these folks, right? Like, I feel like the dark-skinned people of nowadays, the majority of dark-skinned people of nowadays that are indigenous to the American lands, I feel like they are the descendants of these folks that I'm about to talk about right now. But before I do that, I wanted to talk a little more about the similarities. Because, like I said, it's funny when I talk about these things with people, and especially people of my own likeness. Like I said in the beginning of this video, that it's disheartening for me when I talk about, that's what I'm saying, when I talk about people who consider themselves separate from other dark-skinned people. Like I said, for me, not only is it disheartening, but it's detrimental to our progress, because, like I said, is that whether you came up in the Americas or whether you came up in the place they call Africa, at the end of the day, the same plight we went through. That's number one, right? And then number two, hold on, let me get more specific on that. Number one, we went through the same plight. Whether you are dark-skinned here in America or whether you're dark-skinned in the place they call Africa, we have been through the same plight. The Native Americans were given the broad general consensus of them just being called Indians. The same way in Africa, the dark-skinned people were given the broad stroke of just being called black. We were all thrown in the same bowl of just y'all are this and y'all are that. So we need to understand that we've been walking the same path in regards to our plight. That's number one. Okay? And then number two, I don't know why that dark-skinned people would want to disconnect themselves from other dark-skinned people when culturally we do the same things. When culturally we always been doing the same shit. We've always been doing the same shit. And I'm gonna name some of those things too. And then also, I'm gonna point out the similarities even in our lands. Like, not only are we cousins, but even our lands are cousins. Even the land that we survive on is cousins. It'll make sense. I'll break it down. It will make sense. I don't know if the people that are joining, thank you for coming in. I appreciate y'all. Dormer Doc, big facts. I appreciate that. Amaka Earth, true. Thank you. You know what I'm saying? Like, real shit. Civilizations don't get whipped out, they get renamed. Thank you. 500 Nations, real shit. Exactly. That's exactly right. So I don't know if y'all, like I said, I don't know if you can see the beginning of my video, but I had shown, it's funny too, great minds think alike. Shout out to 500 Nations. My guy, I saw the other day that you put up a picture of the upside down world. And it's so funny because when I saw that, I laughed my head off because literally like 6 hours before, I was getting it in, looking at the same map and putting together what I'm doing now. Like it blew my mind because I was like, damn, like this dude literally just put this up, and I was just doing my research on it. Look, man, like I'm not gonna act like I know everything. All I'm doing here is sharing what I know because we need to know it. So when I come up on something, I want to share it with y'all as quick as I can. So when look, I got to do this one more time. Look, I don't y'all. Okay, let me ask you this: did y'all see my upside down map thing? Did y'all see that? The upside down map when I was showing that? Say yes if y'all saw that. Tell me yes or no if y'all saw that. So the thing is that due to Nile River, no. Okay, let me show y'all real quick. I'm gonna show you real quick. Cause yeah, let me show you real quick. And like I said, it's gonna make a lot of sense after I show y'all this. See, a lot of times, we look at the world the wrong way, folks. Y'all see that this is the world, and this is the world map, and the map is upside down. Y'all see this. So, like I said, the homie 500 Nations just posted a picture about the upside down map just like yesterday or some shit, and it blew my mind because I was just digging in on this. So check this out. The sun shines, like the sun heats up what it's closest to. I'm gonna say it again. The sun heats up whatever it is closest to, right? So let's just picture your house, right? Your house, the roof is gonna get hotter because the sun is closer to your roof as opposed to the floor of your house. Okay, so now let's picture this as this is the house, this is the roof, right? That's the roof. The only reason I'm saying that is because the sun heats up whatever it's closest to. Africa, it's hot. The sun heats up whatever it's closest to. Australia, it's hot. The sun heats up whatever it's closest to. India, Indonesia, it's hot. The sun heats up whatever it's closest to, right? The Americas, it's hot. The sun heats up whatever it's closest to. All of this is hot. Equator, it's hot. The sun heats up whatever it's closest to. You see, what the sun doesn't heat up is what it's farthest from. Boom. Canada, it's cold over there. Why? Because the sun is away from Canada. It's not close to it. It's like the floor of your fucking house. Your roof is going to get the heat because it's closer to the sun. All of this, Russia is cold as hell. Why? It's because it's away from the sun. Europe, it's cold because it's away from the sun. But it's like not all of Europe. Why? Because some of Europe is close to the equator. Boom, Mediterranean. That's that nice spot. But like I said, the Norways, the Polands, the Greenlands, all this is cold because it's away from the sun. But folks, like I was saying earlier, is that when I say we were one, all this was one. Look, this is the puzzle, folks. This is the puzzle. All this, that was there. That was here. Could it be to the curvature of the planet? Could what be because of the curvature of the planet? Like, I definitely want to know what you're talking about. Could what be? Pangea. Well, I mean, whether it's the curvature of the planet or not, like I said, why are all maps upside down? I don't think that's got anything to do with the curvature of the planet. But my point is that we have not, what is south is not really south. Well, I know, but regardless of the curvature of the planet, there's still north and south, right? And east and west. The sun always shines one way. It shines down onto things, and then it's on top, right? So, and then the sun is always going to be north, right? Like the ground is south. The sky is always north. So, like I said, that if if we look at this, if I turn this map the general way that we're used to looking at it, then that would mean the sun is shining at the bottom of Africa. But whether it's curvature or not, like I said, we still have north and south. It's like just because we have curvature, direction doesn't change. North is still north, south is still south. So why is it that when we look at a map, our north is is not North. I mean, North America is not, that's South, it's South America. It's not North America, it's South. So even when we think about the sun shining, like, look, let's think about it. Like, let's look at it like the sun, whether east, you know, the sun sets, it rises in the east, sets in the west, right? So either way, like, let's just say the sun is rising, boom. It's still rising on top. It's still on top of all of this. It's on top. And it's heating up all of this. But can't we question what they're telling us the shapes of the land masses are? Well, we can definitely question that, but we can also confirm that too, right? It's like, are they the only ones that can go up into the sky? It's like, you know, they're not the only ones that own planes. So yes, they can definitely tell us one thing. I'm not saying that they can't, but I'm just saying that, you know, I would like to assume what they're going to trick us on is what we can't confirm. What I'm going to sell you on is what you can't go find out. That's what I'd like to assume. And we can look at old maps, but see, even those old maps, you know, it's like, you know, those old maps, I feel like it's like the Bible. Who wrote them? Who put them together? Because I feel that the general way that we look at this map is based on someone's perception of how they look at the world. Not how the world actually is. It's just how they look at the world, how they think of the world. You see what I'm saying? So that's why it's very, very it's tricky and it's dangerous to accept information about you and about anything about you from someone else. That's why it's very dangerous. That's why it's so imperative for us as dark-skinned people to not only exchange this information, but we vet it, we filter the bullshit. And then, like I said, it's like, if we feel that there's too much emphasis on out of Africa, well, let's get that together instead of being mad at each other going, well, motherfucker, I'm not, well, you ain't from Africa, oh, I'm not from Africa, you need to take your ass back there. And that's another thing too. I'm not mad at that dude who said, well, you know, it sounds like you are an African, whatever, you're for Africa, so why don't you go back? Like, I'm not mad at him for saying that, but I did want to make it a point that we all see that that's the same shit that they say to us. Let's not ever emulate or say any type of phrase that one of them, that all you got to do is just switch people and it sounds just like them, because we're not like them. Let's not ever talk like that, because for that dude, I let him slide on that because I know better. I know better. And when I say I know better, it's because I'm thinking to myself, well, more than likely, this guy's probably never left the country. He's probably never been out of the United States. Unfortunately, that's statistically, that's the thing for us. You know, not a lot of us travel. Not a lot of Americans, period, travel. But dark-skinned people, not a lot of us travel. I'm not saying a lot of us don't. I'm saying not a lot of us travel. So one thing I thought was like, well, he's probably not very well traveled. So in his mind, where he's from is where he's always going to be. But see, to that young brother who told me that because I'm from Africa, I should go back there. Just because I'm from somewhere, it doesn't mean I have to stay there. Like I said, that's the beautiful thing about us dark-skinned people is that we thought to travel everywhere. We said, this is our playground. Let's move around. And that's what we did. That's what we did. So when you hear a racist white dude say, go back to Africa, it's because he doesn't know any better that just because you're from somewhere, it doesn't mean you got to stay there. Just like his ignorant ass staying in whatever racist bumfuck fucking trailer park town or whatever rich town he stays in. But that's how they think. We are not like them. So let's not regurgitate that same energy. Let's not encourage that same type of behavior and rhetoric with each other, that when we disagree or if we feel a level of difference, then we should say to each other, well, then why don't you go where you go back where you from? That's not how we do things. That's not how we do things. Because number one, we are all over this world. We are well-traveled people. You can tell with this dark skin everywhere. We're well-traveled people. So to tell somebody that's dark-skinned to go back to where they come from doesn't make sense, because we don't do that. We go everywhere. We go everywhere, bruh. You know what I mean? So, like I said, for me, instead of getting mad and doing the same thing, I want to show him going, no, not only are you better than that, but we're both better than that. And that I encourage him to go somewhere that he's alien to. I encourage him to go to a different country that is different, that you would never even picture yourself being in. Because that's the spirit that got us to this place now. That's the spirit that has got us to survive slavery and all the bullshit we done been through. That's that spirit. That spirit of just forging through and being like, hey, you know what? Let's try something different. And let's do this, let's do that. That adventurous spirit in us. That's what we are. That's what we've been. The original beef with the out of Africa theory is the denial of birthrights we are owed billions of dollars, according to the United Nations. You're absolutely right. Well, and that's where it started too. At first it was the lands being conveyed, right? Because they had struck a deal with y'all in the beginning. And obviously there's different types of paperwork and deals that the colonists struck with different Native American groups. But initially, they had struck a deal with y'all. And actually, what I've read so far is that y'all were classified at one point as dark-skinned people. But then I heard not only white people were classifying themselves as Indians to get government funding, they were getting land. And then I heard at one point in time they made y'all all just Native American, and then the case was kind of closed. So I'm right now I'm reading about the Boomer Sooner thing, which is what I heard, which is one of the consequences of a lot of Native American land being taken, and then it was promised. Actually, it was promised back. I read it was promised back to I think it was like up to 10 Indian tribes that were supposed to move to Oklahoma, and then somehow, obviously, like I said, they decided to they didn't fulfill their end of that bargain, and then they'd given the land to the Boomer Sooner thing. So I'm gonna read about that. Yeah, the $5 Indian. That's what they call it. So I'm reading about this shit, man, and it's like I said, it's blowing my mind in regards to the similarities. That's why the first thing that I thought when I was reading about the classification, I was like, well, hold up, that's how they did us. They started calling us Negroes and blacks and all that stupid shit when we were more than all of that. So the percentage of even of slavery, and then the colonists that went to Africa and stayed there. You know what I'm saying? Like they did the exact same thing, the exact same mode of colonizing, the exact same thing they did to us over there in the place they call Africa. This is where 40 acres and a mule comes from, and only recognizing some tribes. Well, and then also not only just recognizing some tribes, they only recognize the light-skinned tribes. And then those light-skinned tribes too, it's like, I'm still digging in regards to why they're so light-skinned and they have the hair that they do, because I'm very confused about that. And I'm hoping that the more I learn, not only would it enlighten me, but the people that I talk to would help me out. 10 viewers, what? Then they cut me off. I guess I was on it for a while or something. All right, my bad. I don't know what happened there. Okay, so I'll let everybody else get back in. All right, so let me get back to my notes here. Okay, so what I wanted to do, I wanted to talk about. I'm going to start off with the similarities. I want to talk about the similarities of Native American tribes. And look, in 500 Nations, you tell me, how do y'all like being classified? How do y'all prefer to be classified? Native American, Indigenous? Burn Detroit didn't Didn't the light-skinned tribes come by Bering Strait? Yeah, that's what they say. But even then, they say that, okay, so based on what I read, that they came by the Bering Strait, which was the last ice age, and they said that they come from Southeast Asia. Now, I'm not denying some of that just because of the eyes. You know what I'm saying? Because even I have some squinty eyes, and like I said, I'm from South Africa. I have pretty squinty eyes, and I don't know if you ever heard of the Bushmen, but the Bushmen out of in South Africa, right by Botswana and South Africa, they have, I mean, their eyes are more, they look Chinese damn near. You know what I'm saying? So, but for me, what throws me off with them, like I said, is that some of them look European complexion, like, you know what I mean? Like there's some that I can tell that have mixed with us, but the Mongols. Oh, the Mongols. Yeah. Now the Mongols were a very lighter group of people, but definitely had the squinty eyes. They definitely had those squinty eyes. Okay, so before I kind of digress, what I wanted to mention here is the similarities. And here, it's 500. Okay, so similarities between the Native Americans and the Native American tribes and the African tribes, so-called African tribes. And to be honest with y'all too, like I use the term African and American loosely too, because it's like I've yet to find out the true origins of those words, only because they're English and we don't speak English. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I don't even know why they're named America. I've heard Americo Vespucci. I've heard Scipio Africanus for Africa. I've heard different stories, but I've yet to dig. I don't like calling it Africa because I don't know what it comes from. And like I said, it's English. I don't know. But one thing's for sure is that our ways of life in African Native tribes and our ways of life in American tribes were very, very, very similar. From the witch doctor to the Sangoma, which is our witch doctor, to the shaman. These people were very, very similar in not only attire, but now attire was definitely according to the principles and the practices of their faith and their spirituality, and also their terrain. You understand what I'm saying? So, for example, in Africa, we were big on the protection of the leopard. A lot of witch doctors, Amasangoma, in South Africa, and most even in North Africa too, the Congo, the Benin, the Dahomey people, they wore leopard skin. And leopard skin was sort of like it's almost like the logo. Because it was a certain level of protection for a shaman, for a Sangoma. So when you reach that level, you wear this, the entire world, but different names. Exactly. You're absolutely right, Amaka Earth. And so not only do we see this in the shamans with the jaguars of the Americas, but then we see this with the leopards of the Sangomas of Africa. And then we also see it in the walls of the pyramids in Egypt too, that even their witch doctors or their people of some kind of practice. And it, obviously in the walls, like we can only speculate what it is on the walls, but it looks like they were doing the same thing, which was some kind of spiritual ceremonies and things of that nature. And then also another big thing with us is that with us, and I say us, I mean all of us, is that we didn't have history books until these assholes started coming in and fucking with us. I feel like it is two types of what we call Indian Mongols, what we accept as Native American and Negroid, us. The Mongols live in the Midwest and the Negroes Gulf and West Coast. I agree. The only reason why not the only reason why, but the main reason why I agree with that is because I feel it's the same way with Native Americans in the Americas with the light-skinned ones, is because I feel like we had sex with some light-skinned, like, you know what I'm saying, whether they were Neanderthal or they were white people, I don't know. But I feel like we had sex with them and then and that happened. Okay, so we didn't write. We didn't write books. Writing wasn't part of our way of life. And the main reason why writing wasn't part of our way of life. Okay, let me take that back. Writing was a way of writing was part of life in regards to doing art and different things like that. Now, documenting, we told stories, we told fables, but documenting, writing stories and writing dates and all that shit had never been us. It's never been us. And let me tell you why. From the place they call Africa to the place they call the Americas, we have never done that. Why? It's because we believe that writing, the same way you take a picture or the same way you videotape a concert that you're at, is that you are robbing the soul of the human experience. Say it again. Writing is the same way of shooting a video while you're at a concert. It was robbing the soul of the true experience. You see, your memory serves you as not only your experience, but it's something that you can always go back to as a reference for anything and everything that you do, you think, you feel. We use that all the time, right? We go back in our memory, we reminisce, we daydream. We do that instinctually. And then also in regards to who we are, how we grew up, we go back to them files back there and we grab them, we use them. So what I'm trying to say is that the stronger your memory is because the more mental capacity and the more in depth you are into the experience. The stronger the memory is, the more mental capacity and the more you are in depth into the experience. So the more you're into the experience, the more you remember it. So my point is that so when you write about the experience, you're taken away from being in that experience. When you don't, like 500 Nations, like Amaka Earth says, mouth to ear. These are vibrational energies and code, mouth to ear. You're exactly right. The same thing. You see, it's the same code, it's the same energy that happens from like I said, from the sun to the plant, what we call photosynthesis. That is the same energy, that is the same science that goes on. That when I talk to you about you, when we talk about our past, that's the same thing that happens. So my point is that the main reason why that us as a people, whether we were chiefs in the Americas telling our stories of experience and stories about the weather and how to keep the laws of nature, right? To know when storms are coming and how to do this and that. We never wrote none of that shit down. We just spoke it. Like Amaka Earth said, from mouth to ear, that we gave it straight to the source. And that is how you fulfill an experience. That is how you fulfill an experience. So the idea of, like 500 Nations said, that we spoke it into stories, into fables. That was how we did things. And that is another similarity. So that's the second similarity. Now another one, which is very, very I don't know why we don't always notice this, which I'm sure a lot of us do. But have you noticed that whether you are a native here or you're a native in the place they call Africa, do we not name our people, our family, our friend? Do we not name them according to who they are? Like if somebody bow-legged, we'll call them bow-legged. You know what I'm saying? Like if somebody's skinny, we're gonna call him, oh no, that's skinny right there. That's, you know what I'm saying? That's crouching bull. You know what I mean? Like, do you notice that? And why we do that is because it always speaks to the energy and the spirit and the soul of that person, right? We don't name our kid just Bobby. Why? Oh no, we just named him Bob. No, we've never been like that. That's both sides of the aisle. That's both sides of the aisle. You know what I'm saying? Big Derek. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like we've been doing that. Like, for example, to say grandfather in Zulu is umkhulu, ubaba umkhulu, which means big father. You know what I'm saying? And then granny, some cool. That's Big Mama. So that same even idea of Big Mama, we had that. We still have it in South Africa. We in Africa, period. That idea of the big, Big Mama being the superior. Like we say Umkhulu, that's Umkhulu means the big father. That's grandfather. That's the same idea. Same thing. So we're more similar than a lot of people would assume. You know what I'm saying? Okay, what else do I have for y'all? The same way that I was telling y'all about how the panther, you know what I'm saying? I was talking about how the panther was big in the African culture. It was so also in the what were these folks' name? Okay, I'm just gonna read it. Y'all. So Native American symbols like the panther symbol can vary in meaning from one tribe to another and across the culture groups of North America. The panther symbol was used by the ancient Native Americans of the Mississippian culture. Discover facts and information about the meanings of the secret and mysterious symbols used by Native Americans and Indians. Now, I didn't know this for the longest time. The meaning of the panther symbol, according to the Native Americans of the Mississippian culture, the panther was believed to be a supernatural deity who resided in the underworld with the spirits associated with death and destruction. The panther is seen as a malevolent being or monster who fights and devours enemies and was strongly associated with warfare. Well, isn't that a coincidence? Because a lot of secret societies in Africa who practiced metallurgy, iron shaping, iron in Africa, in the Igbo, the religion of Ogun, who is a god, right? He is the god of metal, right? And he is the god of war. You see what I'm saying? Honestly, I don't see how we're all not related in one way or another. I agree, brother. I agree. Yes, Ogun was the god of war in Africa. He was the god of war, of metal, of metallurgy. And over here, we're looking at I'm reading about the panther symbol and its relevance to the tribes of the Mississippian culture, of the mound buildings of North America. Okay, hold on, I'm reading too much. So what I was trying to say here, I got excited. What I was trying to correlate was how the panther symbol from the Indian tribes of the Mississippian culture associated the spirit of the panther with death and destruction and warfare, the same way as Ogun, the god of metal and the god of war of Africa. So that's another similarity, that even within our deities, we looked at them somewhat the same. Okay, and then tribal system. We are all related. They have tried hard to separate us. Indeed, they have. And like I said, I say it in the same breath for the people who still feel that they need to feel that level of individuality. We can still be individuals within one. You can have one family with 6 people in it. All 6 people are individuals, but they're one family. So let's understand that when we say that we are related, we're saying that because we are one in many. We are one in many. So the person who wants to feel an individual, you got that. Nobody's saying that you came from me. Nobody's saying that you came from people from Africa. You've been you. You've been who you are. We understand that. But just like Amaka Earth says, you are part of a whole. Thank you. You are part of a whole. Don't ever forget that. And whether you forgot it or not, we won't. We still love you and we still consider you a part of our whole. Even if you tell us or tell me to go back where I'm from. You are still part of my whole. That's what it is to me. That's what it is to me. So another thing that we are very similar in is just the ideas of chiefs. Just the idea of chiefs having a chain of command. Chief Shaka, one of my kings, Chief Shaka Zulu. We've got chiefs here, Geronimo and them were chiefs. That idea, that concept was a worldwide concept. Now, Africa didn't give it to nobody. It's a worldwide concept. It was our concept, our worldwide concept. We had chiefs, we had kings. That's our concept. Okay? What else? The circle. The circle. The circle is very important to us. The circle represented the eternal flow of energy in life, right? The eternal flow of life and death, right? And the reason why I say the circle was important to both of us is because we lived that way. You see, the world we live in today is a box, because that's what they want to do, is trap us in a box. I'm sure y'all saw my video the other day about how energy is supposed to flow. But if you want to trap energy, what do? What do? You put it in, I'll grab my phone, but I can't grab my phone right now, but you would put it in a box. You would put the energy in a box, right? I'm trying to find something, right? This right here is a box. It's just a skinny, long box, but this is a box. And in this box is trapped energy. The same way the phone that I'm talking to you on is a box, is a square with trapped energy. My laptop, my TV, anything and everything that you see with a shape like this is used to trap energy, right? Right? And if I open this up, that's motherfucker open. There's batteries in there, and it's trapped energy. So the same way that you trap energy in a box, the same way they'll put you in a cell, they'll trap your energy, the same way they put you in a casket, that's trapping energy. But we didn't believe in that. That's why, if you notice, a lot of things from the way we lived, the native had a teepee. Was the teepee shaped in a box? No. What about the hut in Africa? Was that shaped in a box? No. But a jail cell is. That's exactly right. A jail is shaped in a box. A casket is shaped in a box. But my point is, real shit. My point is that we lived how we think, how we thought, how we perceived. So not only is, like I said, the teepee was showing the idea of living in a circle, but how did they sit? How did they sit in the natives? How did they sit? They sit in a powwow style. What is that? They sat in a circle. How did we sit as natives? How did we sit? How did we sit? We sat in a circle. We sat in a circle. Thank you, Amaka. I appreciate it. We sat in a circle. And I really do love, Amaka, you're so right. Like, I love the fact that it's not just me talking here. We got 500 Nations chiming in. We got Amaka, we got you chiming in. Like, I love the fact that we're all throwing in and building here. So I appreciate that. Thank y'all for that, for real. So, and maybe next week, 500 Nations, maybe next week, you know what I'm saying? We'll do the video thing. Hey, Cowboy, I got you, bro. Just let me do my spiel, and then I'll open it up, and we can do the live chats or whatever we want to do. Okay, so yeah, so that's another thing, is the circle. The circle for us was important the same way it was for the natives here. Is that not only do we sit in circle, we lived in that way too. We lived that way. And then smoking. You know what I'm saying? Smoking, whether it's a peace pipe or something else. I mean, enough said on that. We know we've been cousins on that one. Enough said on that one. We've been cousins. We've been cousins. Okay, so, and then one of the most important ones, one of the most important similarities. I've named off, I'm going to go back to it in a minute, but, well, I won't because there's a lot of them. Because I've named off quite a few similarities. But the most important one is the motherfucking drum. Drum. The drum is everything to the native in the Americas. Yes, sir. Power is fucking knowledge. And that's what people understand, that we have to become knowledgeable to gain the wisdom to assert the power. One comes after the other. You can't just get them all. You got to get smart. But then after you get smart, then you're wise. And then after you're wise, that's when you can swing that wisdom like a fucking axe. So, real shit, the drum is everything to us and everything to the natives. Everything. From our ceremonial dances to weather rain dances, and for the Native Americans, they do native to the rain dances, to spiritual invoking. You know what I'm saying? Like, the drum is everything, and no one else does it like us. Excuse me. Whether you're coming from the South, I'm talking about like the South, like the Mississippi, the Georgias and them, or whether you're coming from the Caribbean, or whether you're coming from way down in the favelas of Brazil, you know what I'm saying? Or whether you're coming from Africa in a whole, or whether you're coming from Madagascar, or whether you're coming from the Sentinel Islands, or whether you're coming from Australia, the drum, the fucking drum. And then that one thing too, the Aboriginal, I forgot the name of it. But the drum, man, the fucking drum, that the drum alone should solidify us as family, because it was something that it is very pertinent and visible in every piece of history of the natives here and our natives at the house. Oh, in Africa. What's up? What's up? Remake of me. Thanks for coming in. I appreciate you. So these similarities, folks, they're prevalent. They're prevalent for people that are just coming in. I was talking about the similarities between the natives, our natives here, and our natives in Africa. And I mentioned the Sangomas, the medicine people, the medicine man and the Sangoma, how they both revered the deity of the panther, the leopard. Our oral history, we tell oral histories. We never wrote books because we feel like it takes away from the experience of being human and living, as opposed to telling what you're fucking living. We named ourselves based on our personal characteristics and personal attributes, right? Even though our names might seem awkward to the outsiders, they made sense to us, right? The symbol of the panther was revered by both sides of the aisle, right? What else I talk about here? The tribal systems. We both have the same type of chain of commands in regards to tribal systems. The circle, the shape of the circle is pertinent to both of us, whether it's the shape of a hut, the teepee, whether it's sitting in a circle. The idea of life and death and the eternal flow was something that was important to us. And so we lived it, not just thought it, right? And then another thing too, there was something called the medicine wheel in the Native American culture, which is a sacred symbol used by the indigenous plains tribes to represent all knowledge of the universe. That's another significance of the circle, which was called the medicine wheel. And then most importantly, like I said, is the drum. The drum should show the historical tie and the historical kind of relationship we have. You know, all these things should show, right? And then now let me talk about some more similarities. I'm just getting warmed up. I got my tea. I'm ready to go. Ow, just fucking chipped my tooth. Oh, I didn't. I felt like I chipped it. Goddamn, that shit hurt. I didn't chip nothing, did I? That shit hurt. All right, look, similarities of land and the animals of both sides. I remember, like I said, I don't know if y'all saw in the beginning, but what I explained was the fact that we were one. We were one. I'm gonna show y'all one more time. I'm gonna show y'all one more time for the ones who just came in. For the ones who just came in, I'm gonna show y'all this real quick. I'm gonna show y'all this real quick, real quick, real quick. So, as I was showing everybody earlier, was that this is the world upside down. No, this is the world right side up. We have been looking at the world upside down. And I was showing everybody earlier was that the sun shines on this. The sun is hottest on what it's closest to, right? So Australia, Africa, India, Indonesia's, the South Americas, it's hot over there because the sun is closest to it. What is not hot, what is not hot, what is, damn it, what is not hot is the Russias, because it's away from the sun. What's not hot is the Greenlands, the Norways, the Canadas, because it is away from the sun. So we have to understand that we have been looking at the world the wrong way because the sun heats up what it is closest to. Australia, it heats up what it is closest to. Philippines, Japan's, it heats up what it is closest to. And then also this, all of this was not apart at one point in time. All of this, you can see this goes in here, that goes in here, so on and so forth. You understand what I'm saying? So we have to understand that the land masses that we see now as, that we classify now as 7 different continents, at one point in time, it was one landmass, which is why that dark-skinned people have been on that landmass. And so when it split, we were still on those pieces of landmass. So it's not even that somebody moved, somebody stayed. Motherfuckers have been there. We have been there. Okay? So when you think of that, now keep that picture in your mind, right? Keep that picture in your mind. How the continents were one and now they're split apart. Okay. Now just keep that memory. Hold on to that memory for me. Hold on to that memory for me.